Hello and welcome to Rev Sports. I'm Gargi Raut, and joining me for this show is Ishan Shahane and Snehashish Mukherjee, who is in Dubai and has just witnessed the India's practice session. Now, one of the most important parts of this session is obviously Harmanpreet Kaur's absence from the session and Pooja Vastrakar bowling with a strap on her ankle, as we all expected and saw in the previous live as well, that her ankle and knee are still pretty heavily strapped. But let's get all the updates from Snehashish. Yeah, before we get into Harmanpreet Kaur and Pooja, tell us about the overall update of the practice session. Who was doing what? Tell us about it.
See, today the whole team had a little bit of fielding session. Only Dipti Sharma had a extended fielding session, I will say, with the coach. She was having chat and all. She was practicing high catches and all. But unfortunately, I also saw two drop catches. So I just don't want those get repeated in the matches. But I think as a whole unit, the fielding drill was a little bit short today. They mainly focused on the net sessions, the batting and the bowling. And as you mentioned that Harman, we didn't saw Harmanpreet Kaur, but as in the previous live we shared that in the press conference, Sriti Mandana has confirmed that she is fine, she is available for the selection. So hope for the best. Hopefully that not being present in this practice session will not give another indication going forward into tomorrow's game. But for Pooja Vastakar, yes, the strap was there. But the good thing is she was seen you doing bowling drills in the initial stage of the practice session. She was doing her fitness stretches, but after that she was doing that bowling stretches, bowling drills with fielding, with the coach. So but overall I think it was a decent session. I think not so much intense practice session, I will say, whatever we have seen previous in the Pakistan or New Zealand game, because in both those practice session players were seen putting more efforts in the fielding drills. But this time I think only the main focus was the nets, and hopefully Team India will feel good ahead of the game against Sri Lanka tomorrow.
Yep, yep. And Ishan, at this point, because we didn't speak about it in the last live as well, Pooja not being there, of course, she's bowling today, but there could be chances that she's not 100% fit, so she's not let into the squad. But with Pooja out of the squad, who do you think is a good replacement for her that maintains the same kind of balance that Pooja would do with the
Yeah,
team?
I think I don't know if it's the like for like replacement because both of these players had different roles. But I think Hemlanta has an opportunity. I think Sneashish also mentioned this. Am I right, Sneashish, when saying this?
Yes. See, if I will continue to say the same thing, that if you want to replace only Pooja Bharstakar in the lineup, then I think Sanjeeva Sajivan is the only option for you, because you cannot use Dolan Hamleta or Yastika Bhatia at number 7. That is a complete waste. So I think that is the only option that India chose in the last match. I think that is the only option only to replace Pooja Bhaskar, not like to like replacement, but that is the only option you have in your squad. Or you can go with an extra spinner with Radha Jadhav. That is the only thing you can do at that position. But the main question that I want to ask to both of you guys: if our captain doesn't play tomorrow, then whom you see in the playing 11?
I have no
Hmm.
idea. I have no clue. I mean,
Uh, yeah, I think you'll
it's
have to actually
difficult, isn't
think
it?
that through. I think it's difficult to make that call right now, but let's just look at the options maybe and then come to a solution.
I
But
think I
yeah,
think only Dalan Hamlata or
Yeah.
Yastika Bhatia is the option.
Yastika
But
Bhatia, yes.
batting approach, I think Yastika Bhatia will get a notch, will get a nod ahead of I think Dalan Hamlata, and she can play at number 3. We have seen her playing in the WPL for Mumbai at the top, so I think she can be a good option. But we all hope that despite her not being in this practice session, Harman Kaur should be in that lineup against Sri Lanka tomorrow.
Yeah,
And
hopefully.
I
And
think because Yastika played in those warm-up matches, Dayalan did not, right? Against West Indies and South Africa. So I think that's a clear chance, clear sign
hmm.
that Yastika might come ahead of Dayalan Hemalata at this point. Because I think the last time Dayalan played, she was sent too late in the odd, or was that WPL? I'm confusing two games. Anyway, but I think Yastika might get the go ahead if Harmanpreet is not there. Ishan,
And
what do you
she's
think?
quite a dynamic player, Gag. I think left-hander up the order. I think she's always been an attacking player as well. And someone who I feel can give that sort of boost and momentum to this Indian side. Maybe you need someone like Yastika as well to come in and give that surge. So obviously, if Harman doesn't play, Yastika will be the entry. It'll be interested to see if she actually goes on to play. But I don't think it's a bad option. I think she's one of those brighter batters at the moment.
Sneha, what do you think?
Yeah, I as you mentioned earlier also that I think Yastika Bhatia is the only proper option, that you can have in the playing 11 if your captain doesn't play. Because I think then only you can use Yastika Bhatia at number 4. At number 3, you should have then go for with Jemima Rodriguez. I think Jemima Rodriguez is the perfect player for you to play at number 3 role if your captain is not there. So let's see. But as I mentioned earlier, also all finger crossed. All we are hoping that Harmanpreet Kaur will be there, and hopefully she should be there because it's a tournament decider game. It can be a tournament decider game for Team India. Uh, and in this match, not only you have to win this match, you will try to win this match with a big margin because you have to improve your net run rate also. So I think if, so taking all the factors. So I think it is important that Harman Kaur should be there, and hopefully she will be there.
Hopefully, because if she's not, then that leaves a lot of things, it will mess up a lot of things.
Yeah.
But there are a few questions. Snehashish, most of them are for you. Riyanshu is asking, do India give enough time to fielding at practice, or do they do any special efforts to improve fielding?
See, as I mentioned that in the previous two practice session before New Zealand game and Pakistan game, the whole team was seen giving enough time to the fielding session. Even today also expected the same, because whatever I seen the pattern in the practice session of Team India so far here in the World Cup, that they put their maximum time initially to the fielding drills and then they go for the nets. But today, as I mentioned, that there was a little bit of fielding drills and then they mainly focus on nets. So I don't know, maybe that is obviously team management decision. Maybe, but today, as I mentioned, Dipti Sharma had an extended fielding session. She was seen practicing high catches and all, having chat with fielding coaches. So overall, in as I mentioned, according to as per your question, that in the last two practice sessions before two matches, they were seen having a long fielding sessions. But today they had a little bit of fielding session. But let's see. See, now it's all about the preparation is done, right? So now it's all about the results. If tomorrow again same drop catches happen, same sloppy ground fielding happen, then we have to discuss about this, that why before a important match like this you are having such a small or fielding session. Because your fielding is not that good, and that is known to everyone. Even the players know that what the bowling coach also said that day in the press conference, that we also as a unit, we also, the players also know that we have to improve, and we are in the process to improve that thing, and we have seen improvement in some patches. But in the matches also we are saying that the team is doing a little bit of good in every matches passes by. But in a game like as I mentioned, that it can be the tournament decider game for you. So in a game like that, you have to be make sure that you do not do any mishap in the fielding. So let's see. We all just hope that whatever the preparation is done for today, hopefully tomorrow India will do in the fielding, and hopefully that will help India to at least to save the match.
Yeah. Uh, Pooja Gupta is saying, is this our
Shriti
Pooja?
Mandana, Shriti Mandana, or maybe I
No,
don't
no,
know.
Pooja
I
Gupta.
don't know.
I thought this
I
was our Pooja. Anyway, Smriti Mandana and Shafali's running between the wicket is also bad. I remember Smriti in Pakistan match asked Shafali for a quick single and she refused. And if it had been Meg Lanning, she would have given her life. Ishan, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think yes, definitely. I think we already addressed this in the previous live shows, Gagi, that the running has to be better. There has to be more intent here, because it's already one thing that if you're not bowling well, you're not batting well, and if your skill isn't up to the mark in the World Cup, that's already an issue. But if you are adding to your problems by not running between the wickets properly, by not taking your catches, it's just going to add to your problems. So this is the most basic thing that you can do. I think all of us who have played cricket have been taught that run hard between the wickets no matter what. Those twos can always be converted into threes, ones into twos, and all these small margins make the difference, Gagi. So if it's going to be a close encounter, if if India is going to have those close encounters, which I'm sure they will, because a lot of these T20 games go to the last wire, then every single run matters. So running the between the wickets becomes all the more important, and really we would like to see more of that. I think as journalists, as fans, it's okay if you don't bat well or bowl well on one particular day, but if you're going to drop catches, not run between the wickets, if you don't see the intent, that hurts you more. So, in my opinion, this definitely has to be done better. And even if the batting and bowling is not up to the mark, it'll hurt us, but it won't hurt us to the extent of these casualties taking place.
Sports fan here is saying Yastika is an opener. Hemalata is proper replacement for Harman. Snehashish,
See,
what would you say?
Yastika is an opener. I think you are saying because you have seen her playing in the WPL. In WPL, she opens, but I
Yeah.
think we all have seen Yastika batting at in the middle order. So I think she has that game to play at number 3 or number 4. And the main thing, what makes Yastika better option that Hemlata, there's the strike rate and the attacking intent. I think Yastika brings more attacking intent than Dalan Hemlata, and I think Yastika can be a good option at number 4, keeping Jemima Rodriguez at number 3 if your captain is not playing tomorrow. But as I mentioned, I will again I will say the same thing. We all are hoping that Harmanpreet Kaur will play, and let's see what happens tomorrow.
Trisha, no Harmanpreet Kaur in the captain in the practice.
In the captain? Sure. In a few days, yes. Not right now.
No Harmanpreet. What?
No
No Harmanpreet.
Harmanpreet Kaur in the practice session, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Your thoughts?
it's a difficult thing to understand. Especially I don't get it. Is it because you know what, during the South Africa World Cup as well, when Shubhan was there, Shubhan used to talk about how Harman wouldn't come to the practice session.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the way she functions during a tournament, if it's something that suits her, or if she's injured. Because look, if she's available for selection, then ideally she's not injured. And if she's not injured, then how can you justify her not coming to practice, especially considering the fact that yes, she scored a 29, but come on, guys, that 29 wasn't a convincing one. It was in no way something that where you can say that no, she's back in form, so she doesn't need to come, or some sort of, something like that. So I think it's a little funny that she's not there. But also, should we then assume that she's not playing? Possible, quite possible.
Is this like an optional practice session? Because you see all the time, not to compare, but just to highlight that men's have optional practice sessions during bigger tournaments, and they choose to opt out so that they don't get fatigued or want rest or whatever. Snehashish, was this an optional practice session?
No, no, no. I think match day -1. I think you will not have an optional practice session. I think yesterday it was India team had no practice session, but we were at this ICC academy, and as we reported that we saw some players, we saw Sriti Mandana, Amul, coach Amul Majumdar, Sanjeeva Sajivan, coming out of the ICC academy with their kit bags. So I think it was not. I think they came out, they came and had some practice session maybe. I think that is optional practice, you can say, but because officially there was no practice session for Team India yesterday, but they came and they did their practice. So I think they thought that that will help them. But today I think it was a mandatory practice session. I think for some reason, maybe for the injury, I think she has been given some rest, and that's why Harmanpreet Kaur is not there. Because now you have to believe what Shriti Mandana has said in the press conference, that she said that she is available for the selection. So until the playing 11 comes tomorrow, the only thing that we have to believe that she is fit and she is going to play. If she doesn't get a place in that playing 11, then the contradiction again will come. Like, then why Sriti Mandana said yesterday in the press conference that she is available for the selection, because she was not even in the practice. So I think we have to keep an eye on the starting 11 now, tomorrow.
Yeah, Trisha, we already spoke about this, so that's why I'm asking you. Now, if there is no Harmanpreet Kaur, which is unlikely at this point because Smriti Mandana pretty much hinted at her inclusion in the squad, but if there is no Harmanpreet Kaur, do you see Yastika or Dayalan coming in?
Yestika. Could be
Yeah.
Yestika, to be honest. Had it been Sharjah, I would have actually gone for the airline. Um, because Sharjah is the tougher batting deck,
Hmm.
and spinners come into play more. That is where Hemalata would have been way more effective. But in Dubai track, I would say go for Yastika, because see, Yastika brings in two, three things. One is, of course, she brings in the left right combination. I mean, she does not get in the left right both combinations. She brings in the left left handed, which is what we need, because our middle order is all right handed, right handed, right handed, which helps the bowlers and the opponent captain to set field. And the other thing is, Yastika also gets in. I think the moment I was entering, I heard Snehashi say the same thing. Yastika is more attacking than any, you know, than Hemalata. But here's my other question, Gargi, to you guys. So if Yastika comes in, do you play Yastika at 3 or 4? Like, so Jemmy goes to 4 after one match?
Yeah. Yeah, I think 4 would be better. Jemmy goes at 3, Astika comes in at 4.
Krishna ji, Yastika should play at 3. Ragul ji, I kind of agree, but also disagree. I'll tell you
Oh,
something what I think. I'll tell you
before
what I think.
before you
Yeah.
answer, the
Hmm.
reason I laughed was because it said, Trisha ji, you should play at 3.
No,
Oh, God.
sure. It would be lovely to play at 3, but
Well,
nah.
clearly I'm sleepy.
Yeah. I think, they should, since we don't have a number 3. Clearly, we don't have a destined number 3, and that we have shown. All talk, no action. But that is where I think, if Mandana gets out early, send in Yastika. If
Yeah,
Shafali gets out early, send in Jemima.
left hand, right
Keep
hand
the left
combination.
right. Absolutely keep left hand, right hand going. I think that should be the call, because it's T20 cricket, Gargi. There is no need to be so rigid about the batting lineup, especially when you don't have particular people there. If you had a decided 3, I would have understood. But if you are rotating at number 3 after one game, clearly you don't have a game plan in place that this person is going to be number 3.
Yeah,
Right? So then why not keep the entire batting lineup flexible? And since Yastika is a lefty, then try and replace that way, so that that right left combination continues and the captain still have that headache.
absolutely. You're mute, Gagi.
Tamogna Basu is saying, I'm shocked to hear that only Deepti Sharma was doing catching practice. Asha Shobana was not seen doing catching practice, question mark. With this quality, any coach, yeah, Snehashi.
No, 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 no. Everyone had fielding practices. I just said that Dipti Sharma had a extended fielding practices. She was seen having chat with the fielding coach, having separately practiced with high catches and all. So I think Dipti Sharma's decision might be that she thought that she needs some improvement. That's why she is practicing.
Yeah.
Maybe the team management thinks also. But everyone had their practices. Asha Shovana also was there. How can this? How can this can this can how can this can able to happen that everyone is not having practices, only Dipti Sharma having fielding practices? That cannot happen. Everyone had their practice session, but mainly today it was a small fielding practice session compared to other practice session before the New Zealand and Pakistan game. Mainly today the team management focus on net session when it comes to batters and bowlers. So, but Dipti Sharma had an extended practice session with the fielding coach.
Yeah. Uh, Vanshika Talwar is saying, in place of Shafali, can't Yastika open? Shafali is not in form and also our running between the wickets is poor. Ishan, your thoughts? Then Trisha can go.
I wouldn't completely agree with that, Gagi. I think in the last game as well, she managed getting some runs. I think she threw a wicket away. She looked fairly good. Running between the wickets can be an issue here, but again, the right and left hand combination really works. So Shafali is primarily an opening batter, so she has to stay in that position. In my opinion, there's no point changing her now. In a World Cup game. If this wasn't a World Cup game, maybe you could have experimented here and there. But Shafali, in my opinion, should stay. She looked fairly decent, okay, in the last game. So I think she can build on that in the game against Sri Lanka, and I think that's what we'll have to hope for. But no, I wouldn't change Shafali's position, Gagi.
Yeah, I completely agree with Ishan. Honestly speaking, that if you look at every other team, the openers are sacrosanct. You are not going to change the openers. After that, the batting order can be flexible. And Vantika, you don't do that in between a tournament, because then that completely derails the batting order. Because if you are removing Shafali from opening, where are you putting her? That's a question. She'll be batting completely out of order suddenly in a match which is a do or die match for us. I would rather have Shafali scoring a zero opening the batting than putting her in that mess. And not only her, like everybody then slowly has to bat out of their order, which anyway they are doing. But when you're batting lower down the order in T20s, you're already ready for that or should be ready for that.
Yes.
But as an opener, no. As far as running between the wickets is concerned, it's not like Yastika is really fast, like very fast between the wickets. If you had said Jemima, I would have understood. Herman, I would have understood, but not Yastika. I mean, Yastika is average. Yastika is also average running between the wickets.
More comments. Pooja Gupta is saying Smriti in the press conference said she was frustrated with her playing too many dots. About the number 3. Is that what she said? That she was frustrated about? I
Yes,
don't think that's
yes,
what she
yes,
said. What?
yes, yes. She said, yeah. Yeah, when she was asked about a net run rate question, so she said
Huh.
that it was in their mind in the previous match, but when they came out to bat, the conditions were not like that what they have expected. So I think according to that, they changed their approach, and the first thing then they assured that the first thing will be we should win this match, and they then go for the net run rate. I think that is what Shruti Mandana said. But she also said that obviously the net run rate is in our mind, and in tomorrow's game we also will look to improve that. But obviously the main target will be to win the match first. Okay, and the conditions that Pooja Gupta mentioned, as I mentioned, that she said that whatever the conditions they expected after after coming out to the chase that total against Pakistan, it was completely different according to Shruti Mandana. So I think that's why they finally decided to first we have to ensure that we are winning that match, and then we can decide about the net run.
Yeah. Vanchika is asking, can you please tell how many players did fielding practice? All of them.
Ebs,
All of them.
All of them did it.
what's up?
No one
Vanshika,
was
I
there.
understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
understand the anxiety because we have not been feeling well. But I think all of them have been practicing. Understand something, Vanshika. I don't think practicing is the problem.
Yeah.
Here, honestly, the Indian team, there is a lot of gap between what is happening in practice and what is happening on the ground. Why is there a gap there? It's very difficult for us to say that probably unless people come up and talk about it in the press conference. I think one of the best press conferences that I have seen for the Indian team, heard of course, because we are not seeing it, has been today. Smriti coming up and taking charge, taking the leadership and talking like somebody who means business. I hope we carry that momentum tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
And where was that? Pradeep Shinde, Amelia Kerr, Mumbai Indian girl
Hmm.
on fire. 4 wickets
Yes, we
today.
got 4 wickets.
She
Yeah,
truly was on fire.
absolutely.
Interesting match this, so actually.
Yeah, I think if Amelia
Brilliantly.
Kerr didn't have those breakthroughs, Australia could have easily gotten past 160. I think.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, if I was an Australian supporter, I would actually be very unhappy with the 148 that we have got.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. Because the
But
way that they
actually,
were batting. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead, Kishan. Sorry.
No, no, carry on, guy. Yeah, the point I was making was just that Australia really seems like a league apart. I feel, even though they haven't managed, they could have gotten more runs, but I think the way they've been playing, they seem like they're playing on a different pitch altogether.
But also, Ishan, I think we had watched, like we had seen it in yesterday's match as well. This particular pitch is better for batting
Yeah,
than other pitches we had in
fair enough.
Sharjah.
Yeah. Swarnendu Methi is saying, can Richa bat up the order to utilize the power play? Is that something you
And
would
who
do,
will utilize
Snehashi?
the death overs? Tornendu. डेथ ओवर्स में कौन आएगा फिनिशर कौन है हमारा
I think Pishadi has answered the question. Yes, absolutely. You can use Richagos at the top. because she has that game. But the question that Trishadi asked, I think you need to answer that in the next comment, because you don't have any batters who can play at the dead overs, especially. And the attacking approach that Visha Ghosh can bring, you don't have that, that power hitting players in your squad. So I think if even you want, or even you try to put herself at the top order, you can't. You have to use her at number 5. The most you can do, that you can use her at number 4 according to the situation. You have lost your third, you have lost your second wicket at some 13 or 14 over, then you can ask Vichagos to go and score those runs. Because if you are losing your second wicket on 13 or 14 overs, then you have managed to score around 100 runs or 120 runs, and that should be a good batting wicket also. So I think whatever you have from that perspective, you cannot use her at the top currently.
Yeah. Final few comments before we close the show. Kumar Sagar Jaiswal. Same as men's World Cup, we are seeing other team openers utilizing the power play to their advantage. What's the mindset of Indian openers? Smriti and Shafali playing too many dots.
There is one particular thing that I've noticed. Nobody really asked me to answer, but somehow I jumped in. But the point is, uh, with Smriti particularly, I have seen this, and I think everyone will notice that she hits very good shots, but straight to the fielder with Mount for no run. You know, that is a huge problem with Smriti and Kapali both. They don't rotate strike. And the thing is, they can't run those quick singles. That is there. That I think the mindset issue is you just want to hit boundaries. And I'm not saying there's a problem in hitting boundaries, because I know what the next question would be. That in power plays you are meant to hit boundaries. But you can't try to hit boundaries every single ball in these kinds of pitches. Dubai pitches are slow, the bounce is not great, ball is not coming onto the bat. That is when, if you are not getting the boundaries, the singles, the twos count. Yes, I know Alisa Healy was hitting boundaries, but also when she was not hitting boundaries, she was not playing dot balls.
Yeah.
Healy and Mooney were running the twos, Healy and Mooney were running the singles, which is what kept the scoreboard ticking. And when your opponent is seeing that, okay, we are not giving away boundaries, all right, but the scoreboard is still ticking, that is when they will try to change something, and that is when your opportunity to hit the boundary will come into play.
We can
Abhishek
hope.
Tripathi,
Yes.
India will. Yeah, Ishan, sorry. My bad. I keep.
No, all I was saying is that we can hope that they can win, but I don't think it's going to be that easy. From the way that they've been playing and the form that they're showing, it's looking actually difficult. But let's hope. Hopefully, they can go on and surprise all of us tomorrow. It's a must-win game, so
I don't know how exactly to pronounce this. Dadi?
Dadhi.
Daji. If you're three down in 6-7 overs, why not send your all-rounders like Pooja and Shreyanka? As you're going only with five proper batters, just like how the men's team did with sending Akshat as a floater.
Exactly why
Trisha,
I said that.
Trisha
Exactly why
aggressive
I said
Modi.
we will miss Pooja. Exactly why I was saying that Pooja not being there is a huge, huge, huge problem, because Priyanka cannot do the job that Pooja can do. Priyanka is a all-rounder, but she's more of a bowling all-rounder. Pooja is a proper all-rounder. She can give you a 40-50 with the bat, and she can also get you wickets. And that is where, you could have, Dadi, you have just hit the nail on its head. She could have been used as the floater when you are three down in 6 to 7 overs. She could have mixed that game, the power game, the finding the gap, and she's a good runner between the wicket also. So all taken together, now you realize why missing out on Pooja is becoming such a crisis for us.
Yeah, valid points.
Mhm.
Final.
So-
Um, where was I? Priyanshu, people talk about head trauma of 19 November. Very few talk about Healy hammering in 2020 final.
And you had to talk about that, Priyanka. Thank you so
नहीं
much.
बात करते यार ऐसी बात नहीं 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 करेंगे ऐसी बातें
Priyanka, you know what? अभी ऑस्ट्रेलिया न्यूजीलैंड मैच में वो इनिंग्स दिखा रहे थे, एंड आई वाज जस्ट कर्सिंग देम लिटरली कि ये ही दिखाना पड़ता है तुम लोगों को क्या.
Anyways, thank you, Ishant, Trisha, and Snehashish for joining. That sort of rhymed, Ishant, Trisha, and Snehashish. Anyway, thank you so much for joining. And to everyone who's watching and sent us comments and questions, thank you so much for interacting with us. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. Keep supporting Rev Sports and keep coming back for more lives tomorrow. Of course, we'll be back before the India game versus Sri Lanka. So don't forget to join us back.